go, 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 go. So yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today, well, as you can tell probably by the title of the video, it's probably going to be called something like A1 license, getting my bike ready for the test or something like that, or Mod 1. And basically, I did my CBT almost coming up for 2 years ago, and obviously a CBT lasts 2 years. I did that for my moped, which I had before this bike. Obviously my CBT is coming up for a new renewal in February, and the CBT average CBT cost is around £110 at the moment, probably more like £100 if you use your own bike. But anyway, I've already got my motorbike theory test, which I've passed. I've already passed that. I passed that for if I want to do my A2 license when I'm 19, because it will still last 2 years, my theory will. But I thought, being as I need to renew my CBT in February anyway, I thought I might as well just go and get my A1 license, which would, if you didn't know already, A1 license is basically a full motorbike license, like a car license, but it's a full motorbike license, but you're restricted to a 125cc, which is fine for me anyway, because I'm 17, obviously I can only ride a 125, so that's why I'd be going for the A1 license. But yeah, then basically I can take the L plates off fully, not have any L plates on the front or the back. I can take a pillion if I get pillion cover on my insurance, and you can go on motorways, which I probably will never ever do, let's be honest, on a Grom. But it's just nicer to have it, and then I don't really need to do a test ever again. But obviously I will get my A2 when I can at 19, and probably my A license at 21. But obviously I've got my A1 license Mod 1 tomorrow, which is Monday. I'm going to be doing it at just gone 4 o'clock. So this video will probably be posted after that. So I'll already know if I passed Mod 1 or failed Mod 1. And then obviously Mod 1 is just in the car park. Basically similar to a CBT, but you have a few more things to do basically. But it's just basics really. A few obstacle avoidances, emergency stop, just basic stuff in a car park basically. And then obviously your Mod 2, well, Mod 1 cost me around £15. The theory test, I believe that was around £15 to £20, I'm not sure on that because I did it a while ago now. And then obviously the Mod 2, which is going to be on-road riding, which is basically like a driving test as if you were in your car but on a motorbike, basically doing all the observations and making sure you can actually ride the bike. And that's going to cost around £77. But obviously I can do that within 6 months after I do the Mod 1, but I'm going to probably do it before then. I just want to get the Mod 2 passed as well as soon as possible, and I can take the L plates off. But obviously I'm going to be doing the Mod 1 tomorrow on my bike, so I need some legal L plates displayed on the bike, because obviously my L plates are very much, yeah. So obviously this is my one on the front at the minute, and the one on the back is on my helmet. So yeah, I'm going to be putting this one on. I purchased this, they're about 10 quid off Amazon. This one's going to be unbolted there, going straight onto the front fork. Hopefully I'm going to protect the forks properly, because this isn't very nice metal. And then that'll be on the front forks somewhere around there, which obviously looks bloody stupid, but it's only there for Mod 1 and Mod 2, and then I can say bye bye forever, you know what I mean? And then obviously this is another legal rear L plate, which comes with obviously the normal traditional but 2 screws there, which will go straight onto the back of my number plate. And then that'll be the rear L plate, so I'm going to be putting them on in this video. And also I need to tighten my chain, because that has gone ultra sloppy and floppy, and that needs doing basically, to make sure that's in top shape and it doesn't snap or come off or anything like that. And then also the bike does really need a wash, but I'm not going to do that today. I won't do that at the moment. And I'm also going to put the baffle back into the exhaust, just so that I'm not going to change the exhaust over to the stock one, because technically it's nothing to do with the motorcycle test centre whether I've got a performance exhaust on there or not. It's still road legal with the baffle in, so I'm just going to chuck the baffle in, and then I'll be able to hear the examiner a lot better anyway. So I'm going to chuck the baffle in there as well in today's video. Tighten the chain, which is a bit of a process, but I'm going to do that after. I'm going to do that last, and obviously chuck the L plates on. So I hope you enjoy this video. That's just basically a brief telling you what I'm going to be doing over the next few days. And yeah, without any doubts, I'm going to get into that now. Oh guys, I've got the front L plate now mounted on, and basically I've tightened up these front screws which basically hold the L plate to the bracket, and the L plate bracket I've basically got going round the fork like this, tightened up so it's solid. And just to protect my gold forks, I've basically wrapped a load of electrical tape around where my other L plate was, well, L sticker, and now that's solid and secure. The only problem I did have was obviously on the front of the L plate, as the shocks compress, obviously when this was a big square it was smacking into my front mudguard, and that's obviously a problem. So yeah, I chopped that side off, and to be honest, I know it's not the full technical size, but it is to here. Look, this is the full width, that's the full length, it's just missing a corner. He's going to have to deal with it basically, because that's how it's going to stay. And then obviously when I was turning the bars, the L plate here was hitting onto this, which is my fairing, the side fairing underneath, as I'm turning full lock right, which I'm guessing, well, I know I'm going to need, because when I'm doing a U-turn I'm going to need pretty much, probably not full lock, but I'm going to need to be turning right quite a bit. So to prevent that, I've basically taped up a load of electrical tape underneath this fairing here, so I don't basically rub the paint off my fairing. There's got like 20 layers of tape on there, which should be good. And then also, because obviously that was pushing on that, it was pushing this top corner to scrape all down this fairing here. So I've got a bit of tape under there just to protect that. That was my first thing, but then I thought, well, I'll just chop that corner off as well, and now that's not even a problem. So still got the width, still got the length, just 2 corners missing, but that's how it's going to stay. So that's it. Front L plate now complete and fully legal for my test. This one's perfect. This one is absolutely perfect. Just that little bit more, you see what I'm saying? Should fit. Yeah, that will go. That will go. Yo guys, so I've got the rear L plate now on, big lanky thing. Front L plate's on. I've got the silencer bit of the exhaust off, which is always beautiful. Look at it, how beautiful that is. Obviously I painted on the little eyeballs white. Still love this exhaust. This exhaust, I think it cost me around, I think it was about 250. Not bad. I mean, it's a tiny exhaust for 250, but still nice. I was actually thinking of, in the future, I don't know what you guys think of this, but eventually getting one of them sub cages around the back of here. Like, that would probably look good, and I would probably try and pop up the front wheel then. But like, I'm scared at the minute, like if it did go, it shouldn't go wrong, but if it did go hella wrong, like all this is knackered, like whole bike's knackered. Whereas at least if you've got some crash protection, like the sub cage, it's all sorted, and then obviously some on the front, I don't know what they're called, crash protection around the front eventually, but I think some of them are like 300, 400 quid, so probably in the future, but not at the moment. And then obviously you need a stunt modded oil pump as well to stop the oil starvation. But anyway, this is where the baffle, that is the baffle, by the way. It's a bit of a crappy baffle. It doesn't look like it does much, but it does slightly do a bit of, makes it a little bit quieter. But that is the baffle. Literally you have to take that bit off, you just literally slot it in like that, slot it straight in there, just like so, then tighten this bolt down. I think last time it did rattle, so I need to make sure it's quite tight in there this time. See, now the baffle's installed, you're going to reinstall the rear silencer, which I did once, scratch a bit of the black off once. Not too bad though. So that literally just slots on there. Probably a bit harder to get on now because you got that in there. slides on nice and tight. Nice and tight on there. I'm going to put some gloves on actually, because all these different parts have now got ACF 50 on. Obviously protected for the winter, so yeah, they're all a bit slippery, so just wear some gloves so that when I touch other things on the bike I don't put all slippery crap everywhere, even though pretty much the whole bike's covered in slippery shit. Anyway, where's the bolt? The bolt. Take that off. Put that the other way actually. Slot that straight through there. That's what I like about this exhaust with the SF Grom. I think if you have the OG Grom, the older version, you have to have a different little mounting piece which came with the exhaust to mount this exhaust to the OG, where the SF it just fits straight on there. I just love that. I thought I was going to have some dirty looking flipping mounting piece, but all went well when I did that. The bike does need a jet wash, as you can see, dusty as hell, but it all sticks to the ACF 50, so it's all good. And then we're just going to tighten up this, how big is it, 10mm underneath, tighten it up. Not too tight, we don't need to go over the top. But I like it tight as well, you know what I mean? That's about right. So it just snaps off. That's alright. It's alright there. Then we're going to put this extender on. Grab your 12mm and I think it was this one, two 12mm. One on one side just to hold it, one on this side. Snug it up. Snug it up. I like that one tight. So that's tight. Exhaust is back on. Let's get rid of this because it's got ACF 50 on. I know the door's closed, but I'll give it a little start up just to make sure there's no rattle. For some reason it was actually popping more then with the baffle as opposed to without the baffle. I don't know, maybe it'll pop more, but it's not as in your face obnoxious loud, if you know what I mean. Anyway, now I need to get it up onto the paddock stand and I need to tighten the chain, so I'll be back when I've tidied up so I can actually move around and it's on the paddock stand. Right then, coming to tightening the chain. I've got it up on the paddock stand. Basically you're going to be wanting the chain running at 35mm up and down basically. Mine's super sloppy. I know mine's not on the ground and me on it at the minute, but it's still that sloppy with me on it basically. It's really bad, really bad. What you're going to need to do this job is you're going to need two 10mm Allen bloody hell spanners. Two 10mm spanners basically for these locking nuts. You're going to crack the locking nuts. You're going to then need, after that you're basically going to need, for your right bolt, you're going to need, let me get it, a 19mm socket for that and a 14mm socket for the axle itself, just to hold it while you crack the nut. Then once you've cracked the nut, you might need a spanner on the end of it just to get a bit more leverage, just to crack it. Once you've done that, this is if it all goes smoothly. It didn't go this smoothly last time for me. Hopefully it does this time. I'm not going to tighten the chain as much as I did last time, because I think I did it a little bit too much. So I'm going to learn from that and not do it as much this time. Then you're going to need two 12mm spanners. Obviously I've got a ratchet spanner for one, because there's only them two in the kit. Anyway, so you're going to need 12mm for your actual axle tighteners, chain tighteners themselves basically. And then once when you've cracked this, the axle is free to move forwards and backwards. Obviously you're tightening the chain, so you're bringing the axle back a bit. Alright, mine was up here when I first put the chain on basically, and I tightened it to come to here. It's going to go a little bit further back, and I should have more play. Tighten it again. It doesn't need much to tighten the chain, by the way. And then obviously evenly each side. It's got markers on the chain tightener anyway, so you should just make sure they're the same both sides. Just tighten them each side the same basically. Make sure they're right. And then once you've done that, I believe I'm going to tighten up the locking nuts again then, so that they're tightish. I'm going to check them afterwards as well, but I'm going to tighten them up. Then when you're tightening up your axle bolt, make sure, I just sit down and hug the back tyre basically. Make sure you're applying pressure to the back wheel forwards, while actually tightening this down to a certain point. And once it grips, you can just let go of the back wheel then. And then at that point I would tighten these chain locking nuts fully, and then get the nut up to spec basically. Anyway, it's getting warm in here, so I'm going to crack on with this now, see how it goes, probably show you part way through, and then hopefully the finishing product when it's done and ready for the test tomorrow.